My name is Bob. I'm no longer Dr. Goss or Professor Goss or Executive Goss or CEO Goss or a number of titles I've had over the years. It's just Bob. I was Assistant Dean at the College of Family, Home, and Social Sciences at Brigham Young University here in Provo, Utah. And I had that assignment from August of 2007 to 2010. Well, a doctor of public administration, a PhD in public administration from the Graduate School of Public Affairs. I had finished up a whole lot of work before that PhD in Virginia. I, for example, earned my law degree from Georgetown University in 1977. When I was attending the State University of New York and home earning some money and having left, I watched on the TV shows the killing of John Fitzgerald Kennedy in Dallas that fateful day in 1963, as I remember. How is it that we can have such fear or guilt or animosity towards a sitting president who the people have elected in the United States throughout all 50 states? And I thought, well, maybe I'll someday can be of help to one of those people or more. After I earned my master's degree in public administration from Brigham Young University, I suggested to some friends, Larry Vance, who was married to Margaret, and to other friends about going up there to Albany. It was at the time one of the largest states, if not the largest state in population terms, and very influential. Well, after the public internship year was done, for all of us, there are probably 50, maybe more interns in different departments and agencies of state government, because Albany is the capital. I was asked by the commissioner, the industrial commissioner. His name was Martin P. Catherwood. And I got a phone call to have, he said, please come into my office, I want to talk with you. And I said, oh my, what have I done now? I'm just an intern and all I'm a senior administrative analyst now. And he said, Bob, I have appointed John McAvoy as the administrative officer for this agency on this floor. I want you to be my executive assistant. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I came home and talked to my wife, Connie, and said, I've been asked to serve as an executive assistant to the commissioner of an agency of 13,000 employees. And we succeeded through a whole series of responsibilities, including one where I was asked to serve as assistant director for the Emergency Employment Program. I learned a lot from him. He had confidence in me. He would send me down to talk with, for example, and use me not as a spy, but as his agents to see how things were going. I respected him greatly, and so many of the men and women associated with the Department of Labor in New York, within Albany and the other satellite areas, and in particular in New York City, Morris Kleinfeld and Carl Maddy and others. They were professional at what they did. And I developed a yen for wanting to get additional degree. At the time, I had enrolled in myself at the Department of Labor full-time and went part-time to the Graduate School of Public Affairs at Albany to earn my degree. And Connie at the time was working in the Department of Transportation for a little bit, to earn some money for us to support ourselves. But I had a yen for law, and I persuaded Connie that I could go down and learn law school. Where could I go part-time and still earn money? My sweetheart with, I think, that 3 or maybe 4 children, Colleen, Susan, Rob, Rebecca, and Colleen. We moved down to Virginia. I chose Georgetown because it had the best reputation, and it was a marvelous decision on my part. The professors were great. Many of them were full-time lawyers before serving as professors, which is how you teach. And I developed an appreciation from the law office. So I applied to the National Governors Conference, as it was known then. I would be traveling around the country from time to time. I was assigned to serve New York State because I had worked in New York, so I became acquainted with the leadership in the legislature there. Eventually, with the Virginia House of Delegates and the leaders there, and in the state Senate as well. I joined as a member to the Institute of Certified Financial Planners and became a member of it. Well, shortly thereafter, I was not doing well in both having a law practice in Stafford, Virginia, and a financial planning practice in Virginia, in the courthouse. And so I applied for the opening for the executive director for the Institute of Financial Planners. That I got a call from Sylvia Ibanez. One day, I had never met her, and she was a feisty Latin lady. I think she was one of those that left Cuba to get to Florida and enjoy the freedoms that we have there instead of something under Castro. But she called me one day and she said, "Bob, I'm having trouble because the Board of Accountancy in Florida is prohibiting me from using my CPA credential, a well-known credential offered by boards of accountancy in each of the 50 states." And I helped her with her appeals to the Florida Board of Accountancy decisions in Florida, and she finally took it to the Supreme Court, her case. We won the case. I was there in the Supreme Court when Sylvia argued that case. It was an amazing experience. And shortly thereafter, I congratulated her. Even to this day, I could probably find her in Florida, and she would remember exactly that exchange. And I've decided to apply for the board of my designation as the Supreme Court bar, and I have that certifying credential on the wall downstairs here. While serving as president and CEO of the Certified Financial Planner Board of Standards in Denver, I sought to earn a PhD, and I chose that institution located in Denver, the Graduate School of Public Affairs, and I was awarded that degree in 1997. Well, the nature of the work that I was performing in Washington, D.C., in Albany, in Illinois, in the capital, trips to Chicago about every other week, and back to Springfield, Illinois, close to where we lived in Rochester. And then eventually here, moving to American Fork, making that commute every day to Provo, where the University of BYU campus is located, allowed us to complete that circle and retire from BYU at the end of my time as assistant dean after 3 years there at BYU. I believe that my legacy in part is to be the legacy of standards for individuals in the United States and elsewhere in the world, relying upon the examination, the experience, testing, and ethics for people providing advice about investments of all kinds. Secondly, service in government at 2 states level, governor type level in New York and in Illinois, but also at the National Governors Conference, now known as the National Governors Association, and in the National Conference of State Legislatures to strengthen the system of federalism, states and the federal government working together. I would like to be remembered as a faithful husband and father, grandfather and great-grandfather, a servant in the community, participating in state and local and federal government through communicating with our representatives and directing an improvement in the quality of life for all of the United States citizens.